hope you had an awesome Thanksgiving. We're going to get ready for worship. We're going to sing the Christmas song with a little mix. So stand to our feet and let's sing along. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. 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 Put it together. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, 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 and wonders of his Let's give it all the praise. Joy, endless joy. Jesus Christ is with us. He has come to save us. Love, endless love. Heaven's gift of freedom, reaching out to save us. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. 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 Joy, endless joy. Jesus Christ is with us. He has come to save us. Love, endless love. Heaven's gift of freedom, reaching out to save us. Sing it. Joy, endless joy. Jesus Christ is with us. He has come to save us. Love, endless love. Heaven's gift of freedom, reaching out to save us. At the highest King would welcome me. I was lost, but he brought me his love for me. His love for me. Who the sun sets free, always free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. He lost, has ransomed, his grace. Weary world behold, your promised Messiah. Angels, let your song begin. Here comes heaven. Christ is born in Bethlehem. Here comes heaven. Sinner, wake no more. Love is broken silence. Come, let us adore. The Savior is with us. Angels, let your song begin. Here comes heaven. Christ is born in Bethlehem. Here comes heaven. Here comes heaven. Now beyond His glory, glory in the highest. All the earth rejoice, for Christ is born. Now beyond His glory, glory in the highest. All the earth rejoice, for Christ is born. Over all praise the dawn of salvation. Darkness reigns no more, for Jesus is greater. He is greater. Angels, let your song begin. Here comes heaven. Christ is born in Bethlehem. Here comes heaven. Angels, let your song begin. Here comes heaven. All creation worship Him. Here comes heaven. Here comes heaven. Here Thank you so much for worshiping with us. Before you take your seats, turn around, shake some hands, and meet someone new.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm so happy to see you all. The Sunday after Thanksgiving, you're still walking around and you made it. You got out of bed and you came to God's house. It's pretty awesome. So give yourselves a round of applause for just being here today. It's awesome. God bless you for you. And again, it's so awesome to be here with all of you. My name is Matt. I'm the campus pastor here for those of you who are here for the first time. But I want to introduce you to Cody. He's going to be preaching today. Come on, give Cody a round of applause. who is sitting in the front row. Both of them together serve God just so powerfully, and they're a part of our leadership team here at Family Church. They lead our students, our junior high and our high school students. So a lot of times you won't get to see them because they work with students and throughout the week doing community groups on midweek nights and throwing parties for our students and putting a lot of energy and effort to just saying we love our students and creating an environment where our young people can invite friends and things like that. And a lot of times you won't see them in this room either because you're teaching junior hires and are on Sundays during services while the adults get to come. How many of you adults are grateful you get to come into church and drop off your kids? And all right, awesome. Yeah, here, take them. I can't take them anymore. But man, when you leave your kids, they're in good hands, whether it's in junior high or high school or in our kids' environments. Can we just show some love to everybody who serves in our youth and our kids teams? Thank you. We have some of the greatest leaders in our youth and kids teams, and so I'm just so proud of you. I'm proud of you, Liz. Liz, I love you more than Cody. Wasn't going to say that in front of everybody, but I'm just kidding. I know. No, but you guys are a power couple. What God is doing in and through you is amazing, and it's my honor and privilege to kind of release this platform to you and to let you preach God's word today. And so thank you for preaching the Sunday after Thanksgiving, so I can rest and just chill and be all friendly. Others like this week, you're like, you're so nice to me. It's like, yeah, because I'm not preaching, I'm not stressed out, you know. So, anyways, that's not true, maybe, but a little bit. I love you, man, and go for it.
You didn't steal any of my intro this time, so we're good. It's funny. Thank you guys. I'm like you said, my name's Cody. I'm the youth director here at Family Church. I'm really excited, blessed to be able to be speaking to all of you. It's really fun. As he said, I work a lot with the youth, and you actually might even hear me sniffle a little bit. I got a scratch on the back. My medicine's wearing off. Last night I was out till 12:30 a.m. Didn't get home till 12:30 a.m. Not because I was partying or anything, because I decided it was a good idea to take some high school students to go see a UCLA game. It was freezing. I didn't enjoy it at all, okay? It wasn't a fun night, but it was for them. That's what's important. So if you hear me sniffling and stuff, that's why. Don't judge me. But anyways, I'm here today and I get to speak about some things. Really excited for that. Just a little bit about me, so you guys can know who I am. Again, my name's Cody. My beautiful wife Liz. He already gave her an introduction, trying to steal her away. I don't appreciate it. Hey, you got your own. But she's so awesome. We don't always get a chance to be in the same place every single week. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. She leads the junior high services over there in Whittier, and I over here in Signal Hill. So it's awesome just to have her here. And I just wanted to make sure I shout her out and embarrass her just as much as if I was thankful for anything, and I have so many things to be thankful for in my life, but if I was thankful for anything, any one thing, it would be her. Just my rock over here. One that's just awesome and always there for me. Pump me up, chin me up. Really good. Anyways, that's enough embarrassment. Okay, so Liz, my wife, we also have a beautiful dog, an awesome dog named Floki, who's a troublemaker. That's Floki, not Loki. And then my mom's over here clapping for the dog. And that's Floki, not Loki from Thor. So we didn't go after Thor there. But he's really great, awesome dog, really excited for that. I also love to eat, so Thanksgiving was very good to me. It was awesome. Anybody else have an awesome Thanksgiving? Lots of food? Anybody feeling it today? A little bit? Yeah, still working on leftovers? I'm feeling it. I intentionally wore a sweater, a little bigger shirt, because I don't think I could do a button-up today. I just didn't think I could do a button-up. But I love Thanksgiving, and after all the Friendsgivings and family things and all of that, it's really great, but I feel like it's time to start the diet. Anybody start a diet tomorrow? Anybody with me? No? You're like, no, there's still Christmas food. Wait, next year. That's the resolution, like it is every year. That's okay. I'll start tomorrow, and you guys can just keep eating. Anyways, I also love taking pictures. I love photography. I love taking pictures. So I actually got the opportunity to take my little family of ours up to Yosemite as we're going to visit my sister for Thanksgiving. There's the pictures right here. Awesome. Little shameless plug. I take photos. I don't know if my family was up there before. Did you see them? Yeah? Loki? Adorable dog. Anyways. So I got to get some shots up there, but it was a little unfortunate because I had this all planned out. We were going to camp out the first night, and we were going to have some fun. We'd never been camping before, so it was just going to be an experience. And I was going to take some great pictures. We're going to see everything there was to see of Yosemite. And unfortunately, as we're on our way up there, we hear about a snowstorm coming in, and it was going to be crazy, like 4 inches of snow, and we were just like, okay, that's not going to happen. For our first time camping, I don't think we were not prepared for cold very well as it was, let alone a snowstorm. So we just decided, okay, that's not a good idea. And even though we were surrounded by all this beauty, just driving through the valley, getting to be in God's creation, I had a really hard time because I had these plans set, right? I had these plans that I wanted to do. I wanted to go see everything there was to see, take all these pictures and spend some time with my family, and then they were all ruined. The snowstorm came in and ruined it all. I was really upset. It got me in the mood. When things change, my wife will tell me, when things change, I get in a little mood. It takes me time to adjust. And so while we were up there, and I'm like, we're taking some pictures, we're having somewhat of a good time, I was moody. I'll admit it. Yes, I'll admit it to you, I was getting moody. I was being a little moody, and I wasn't fully enjoying where I was. And the problem with that is I could have definitely enjoyed that trip so much better. I could have really taken a step back and saw that, man, I am in the middle of one of God's most beautiful creations. Like, I love taking pictures of landscapes and stuff like that and going to different places because I know that God's put it there for us to be able to be in His presence, to see the things around us and to stop and be in awe of it. I don't believe the big cities are all what it's about. I believe when we get out into nature and we're around those types of things and seeing these awesome sights, I think that is truly where we can have an opportunity to sit and worship Him and be thankful for everything that we have. And I missed that mark. I missed that point when we were up there. But what I really felt we could have done was enjoyed that moment more. All the while I was being in that moody mood, or whatever you want to call it, our dog gets off leash. So I almost forgot the story. Our dog gets off leash. To top it all off, we're having to leave early, not getting to see everything, and then Floki gets off leash. My wife lets him go a little bit. There should be a picture. There he is, sprinting away from her. I thought the reason there's any photos is because I thought he was running to me, and I was like, oh cool, he's going to come to me, and I'll take pictures. Nope, next picture. Bolt straight for the cold river, the ice-cold river. And at this point, after all this time, everything that I was complaining about, I just couldn't help it but laugh. Like, he's jumping in the cold river, he's going to freeze to death. Not really, he didn't freeze to death. But, I just couldn't help but laugh. I was just laughing. And my wife didn't like that very much because she was worried for him that he would get hypothermia. And he's fine, thankfully. The dog is unharmed, just a little bit cold. But yeah, like I said, I thought I would have gotten mad. But at that point, I realized, what's the point? Right? Why am I going to get mad at this? This is obviously funny. Like, you guys laughed at the picture. So, and I just thought, you know what? I need to get back to what the point of this whole trip was to be. And that was to really just take a step back. Get out of the craziness of life, get out of the city, and just take a moment to be and observe and just sit and worship and thankfulness and be in God's presence. And I really don't feel that we do enough of that. Right? So I actually want to do this right now. In fact, let's try this right now. If you could all close your eyes for me. Let's close your eyes. We're going to do a little bit of a mindfulness exercise. It's pretty awesome. So closing your eyes, I want you to just take a deep breath in. Just breathe in. And then breathe out. And just be. One more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. Sneeze, yeah. But not enough do we take this moment to just be, just to thank God and worship Him and just be in His presence. Right? If you have it, you can open your eyes. It's like first time. But too often we get caught up in the little things. We get caught up in the little things that just that steal our joy, and take our happiness away, and we just get stuck on it. Right? And in the middle of all the craziness of this season, I know there's all this shopping happening. Black Friday shopping just happened. I heard it wasn't as bad though, which is really good. Like, people are calming down, realizing, I can do this online, which is great. But there's all these crazy things happening in this season, and I think we really just need to take a step back and prioritize and realize what this season is all about, and that's Jesus. Right? Jesus is the reason we even have any of this in the first place. So I get a great opportunity and privilege to kick off this brand new series. As Pastor Matt said, it's called Christ Mocks. Christ Mocks. A little dad joke in there, which I love. Does anybody not know what Moss means? Anybody?
More.
Okay, good. Most of us know it means more, right? If you don't know, you need to get some culture in you. This is Long Beach. Okay? You can't not know a little bit of Spanish. If you don't, maybe it's someplace for you. But this is great. Anyways, Moss means more. Now you know Spanish, now you can stay. Alright. Moss means more. So it's titled Christ Moss because in this season, in this Christmas season, we need more of Christ. We need more Jesus in our lives. And we need to worship Him more, which is what I'll be talking about today. I got lost in my notes. I'm just going to be honest. There it is. Alright, so we spend so much time and energy, like I was saying, so much time and energy on all these other things during this time. We trying to buy holiday gifts, right? We stress over that. We stress over trying to make all the family parties and see every family member and friend and trying to do all these things that just stresses us out way more than it should. And we spend all this emotional and physical energy on the wrong things when we could just be using this time to worship the one who it's all about. Right? But what is worship? So what is worship? We're going to talk about that right now. Worship is any action that expresses your love for God and brings Him honor and glory. When we think of worship, typically we think of here at church, right? We just finished with the worship set and it was awesome. So we think of the singing in church and we think raising hands and all that goes on there. And there's many different types of ways you can worship. You can worship all sorts of ways. It's funny, I used to go, before I came here to this church, I used to go to the Spanish church. And it's fun. I don't speak much Spanish at all, but that's a different story entirely. Anyways, so the funny thing though is when I go there, or when I went there, I'd always see this lady singing backup vocals on stage, and she never seemed to be into it. Like she always seemed kind of like she didn't want to be there. Like this is literally how she would sing. It was not entertaining at all. I did not get it, and I was so distracted I didn't even pay attention to the rest of worship. So I'm like, why does she want to be here? I don't get this. But and that's no judgment to anybody. You worship how you worship. I just felt like she could use a little more oomph. I'm in a Spanish church. It's a little louder. Anyways, off topic. But there are so many different ways that we can worship. Right? And there's this guy named Tim Hawkins who does an awesome job of kind of explaining this. I'm not going to try and imitate it, so I'm just going to let you guys watch this video real quick. Let's check this out.
Next one's my fish was this big. My fish was this big. If you're a liar, you go out there, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Jesus loves you. Grace. Next one's hold my baby. Hold my baby. Got dueling light bulbs. That's our next one, dueling light bulbs. Got goalpost. Everybody knows goalpost. Throwing a heartburn. A lot of people like to do heartburn. Double heartburn. Right back to goalpost. What's my favorite? Mufasa. Mufasa, that's my favorite. The circle of life. Tim, can you go higher? Yes, you can. You take one hand, go a bunch of different stuff. Pointer, hatchet, schoolroom. Release the doves, give the Lord a high five. Press it out. A lot of women like to wash the window. Wash the window. And when you're comfortable there, go for the big three. Village people, Rocky touchdown. There you go.
And there it is. Anybody want to be honest? Here's a window washer. Anybody window washer? Yes, right? Okay, good. You guys are honest. That's awesome. Great. My hardest thing when I was first starting to come to church and realizing what worship was and being here on time for it, I would keep my hands in my pockets. This was my comfy space. I kept it right here. Both hands in pockets, nice and warm, didn't want to do anything else. I would, just kind of observe, see what's going on. Worship is going on, okay, cool, maybe I'll nod my head a little bit, okay, some swaying, I'll get some swaying in. And that's how I started. I just wasn't comfortable with my hands. I didn't know why people were doing it. And it made me uncomfortable, right? I just just didn't do it. Eventually, the hand came out of the pocket, but it only went there for a little while longer. It was only out of the pocket. I didn't start raising my hands or anything for a while. It took me a little while before I finally got to this point where I was like, okay, yeah, I'll lift my hands, but I'm still going to check if I'm doing it right, trying to make sure that I'm doing it right. And then eventually I just said, forget it. I'm just going to worship God, not care about anybody else, what's happening, because that's the point. I don't need to worry about anybody else. What I should be doing is focusing on Jesus, right? That's exactly what we should be doing in worship. And if it takes some time, it does, right? It takes some time to get comfortable and used to it. And really, it doesn't matter how you worship. It really doesn't. You can dance, you can sing, you can jump, do cartwheels. It might be a little weird, I don't know. But it doesn't matter how you worship. What matters is the posture of your heart when you're worshiping. Because it doesn't matter. You can do all of that for show, and if you don't feel it in your heart, there's no point. You might as well not do it at all. Right? You can be here and you can try, and that's what it took me. I didn't really realize the posture of the heart part, so I was here and I was trying, but it took me a while, and you'll get there. It does eventually get there to know that it's the heart is what matters. So I want to talk about a few reasons why we worship Him, why we worship Jesus, and then how do we do it? How do we worship Him? So I like to start with the why, because when explaining things, I feel like people want to know, why is this important? Where's the why in it? So I like to start that way. Why do we worship Jesus? There are 3 reasons to worship Jesus. Number 1, the first reason we have to worship Jesus is for who He is. And in John chapter 1, verses 1 through 5, John does an amazing job of explaining who Jesus is. And now before I read it, you need to know that when John mentions in the scripture the Word, so you'll see the scripture on the screen, when he mentions the Word, he's talking about Jesus. So for the sake of what we're doing, I'm just going to say Jesus instead of the Word. Okay? And actually, I'd love if you guys could help me out with that. So when it says the Word, we're actually going to say Jesus. So I'm going to point, and you guys can say Jesus. Okay? Let's try it right now. Make sure you got what I'm saying. Okay, ready? Jesus. This side got it. This side, I don't know. We're still waking up. It's 11 o'clock. Come on. Okay, let's try it one more time. Ready and Jesus. A little bit better. Okay, we got to get into the scripture. That's why. Okay. Anyways, so when we get to that part, a point you say. In the beginning was Jesus. And Jesus was with God, and Jesus was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through Him all things were made. Without Him nothing was made that has been made. In Him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. Never extinguish it. The point is, Jesus was there in the beginning. He was there at the very creation of the world that we know. That's what's being emphasized here. I like to mention some fun facts. So another fun fact about the book of John, the title Christ means anointed one in Greek, and Messiah in Hebrew. And this title was given to Jesus, therefore it explains that He is the anointed one to save us. The name Jesus and the title Christ is used 170 times in that book, and the word believe is mentioned 100 times. So it's obvious to me that this book in the Bible is stressing the point that knowing the importance of knowing and believing who Jesus is, just as it's important for us to know and believe who He is. And now, since we're talking about Christmas, it would be a shame not to mention the most iconic story ever in Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 and 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship Him." And we've all heard this Christmas story before, but this time I want to focus on the Magi. Because these are the guys, these Magi, they traveled from far away. They brought gifts knowing that Jesus was King. And now at this point, Jesus is a baby, right? It's just a little baby. These guys came all this way, traveled all this way, because they knew that this baby would save the world one day. They had that much faith. That much faith. And some of us can't even trust the people next to us with our purse or our wallet because we're they're scared they're going to steal something, right? Like, and we're in church. You should trust the people in church. But it is hard to trust, and it's hard to have faith. But these guys, even though it was just a baby, they knew he was way more than that. That he was coming, he was king, he was going to save the world. And this was before any of the miracles even happened. I think most of us, myself included, we tend to wait on the miracle in order to worship Jesus. We want to see some proof. Show me what you're going to do in my life, and maybe I'll start, worshiping. But honestly, we don't even give him credit for the miracles he's already done in our lives, for the things he's already done. We don't give him credit for those things. We chalk a miracle up to something we do ourselves, right? Heck yeah, that check was big, just when I need it. Now I can pay my bills. Awesome. I didn't even expect it to be that much. Right? Really? Just when you needed it? How about who gave you the job in order for you to earn that money?
Amen.
Who made the hours in a day in order for you to be able to do the work?
Amen.
Or who gave you the ability just to even wake up, to get to work, to be healthy enough to do the job at hand? And which in itself, the job itself is a blessing from him. So we need to recognize more that he's doing things right here, right now, in each and every one of us. And the more we can worship him before, during, after, and all throughout our lives, the more we're going to see the miracles that are happening in our lives. And that brings me to the second reason that we worship Jesus, and that's what he's done. And I don't know about you, but the sacrifice Jesus made for us, that's way more than we could ever think we could do. Way more. Jesus gave his life on the cross, beaten, bruised, and crucified to save us from sin. Put ourselves in the same situation, I bet most of us would just turn and run. Just take off. I'm not sticking around here. I don't want to be crucified. I know that. I know that he saved us. So is that a reason to worship? Yeah. That's a big reason to worship. Let's read Matthew chapter 1, verses 21 to 23. Mary will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. All this took place to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. The virgin will be with child and will give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. This selfless act that Jesus made it possible for God to be with us every moment of every day. Emmanuel, God with us. Even when we don't think he is there, we don't feel like it, because no matter what we do, how we feel, what we're thinking in a fleeting moment, he is still there. He is with us. His love goes beyond any reasoning or understanding. It goes further. Romans chapter 5, verse 8 says, God shows his love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While we were still sinners. He looked at us in the middle of our imperfection, in the middle of our brokenness. And he said, don't worry, I got this. I love you. In the middle of all of that. I can personally say that it is the hardest thing to worship Jesus when we don't feel like we're worthy. When we feel like we're just stuck in sin and we can't overcome it, or we feel like we're never going to get through it. It can be hard. We don't feel like worship even matters at that point. But it does. And it can be even harder when we're stuck in a bad situation, when our life seems to be going nowhere, or it just seems like God isn't showing up. But right there, that's when we should sing the loudest. Because in the middle of the storm, that's when real heart change happens. That's when he does his best work, in the middle of the storm. And some, especially during this Christmas time and all these holidays, some of us have an even harder time worshiping Jesus because there's all this familyness and togetherness that goes with it, and maybe you don't have a family. Maybe you've lost someone really close to you recently, and it's just been hard. This will be the first time without them. Or maybe you're in a broken home. Maybe it's just hard to even go back to every single day. You don't know how you're going to get through it. In those moments, it's hard to worship Jesus. tell you something. During this season, and during every season, you have a family here that loves you, that will never judge you. Family church is not just a catchy name. No, family church is here. Family church is here because all are welcome and you are home. So if you ever feel like you don't have somewhere to go, this is your home. So we're going to worship him for who he is, what he's done, and what he's going to do. So the last one, the third reason we have to worship Jesus is for what he's going to do. In Ephesians it says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. To him be the glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever." His promises are greater than we could ever imagine. I can't even count how many times I prayed for things or wanted things for my life that I was just holding myself back. I was holding myself back from what God wanted to do because I was praying those prayers, because I was working towards something different. Right? He has a plan. He had a plan for my life. He has a plan for your life. And sometimes we can get in the way of that. But no matter what, his plan is greater. I get more when I let him be in control. When I trust his plans and what he is going to do. And I have to remind myself that daily. Daily. It's not that I don't struggle with it anymore. I struggled with it last week when we went up there to Yosemite. I had to remind myself what I'm doing. I had to remind myself to worship and be thankful and let his plans. Doesn't matter whether mine get messed up. It's not me. It's about him. So instead of believing in myself, what I can do, what I want to do, I turn and I worship him to do the work in and through me. So now we know the why. But what is the how? How do we worship? What does it mean to worship? I believe what he wants more than anything else from us is to worship him with our lives. Everything that we do. It's about serving on a team. Not because we have to, but because we want to. We want to bring more people to come to know God. It's about the tithe, as hard as that can be. Not doing it out of a heart of, I guess I'll get my money. Because God doesn't want that. God doesn't want it like that. Amen. He wants your heart, your full heart in giving. And recognizing that we're blessed enough to be able to give. It's about time with him. Just spending time, working on our relationship with him. We work on so many other things, and we spend our time doing so much that barely even matters when we can truly just be reading and learning more about him, praying, not just for things that we want, not just for the things that we want to happen for us, but praying, just being thankful. Thankful for the blessings that we already have in our lives. Thankful for everything that he's done and already is going to do. And yes, sing praises to who he is. Sing praises for what he's done and what he's going to do. In 1 Timothy 2:8, "Therefore I want the men everywhere to pray, lifting up holy hands without anger or dispute." So how do we worship? We lift our hands. It's a universal sign of surrender. Surrender of ourselves to know that we don't have to do it alone. And why would we want to? We've done that long enough. Surrender to what we want in our lives and letting God take control. Surrender of our thoughts, our feelings, and surrendering of our heart. If we could all please stand as I close. I want to read Psalm 63 because it just says it all so beautifully. "You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you. In a dry and parched land where there is no water, I have seen you in the sanctuary and beheld your power and your glory. Because your love is better than life, my lips will glorify you. I will praise you as long as I live. And in your name, I will lift my hands." Right now, I'd like us to worship again together. And this time, I want us to observe our hearts. I I want us to focus on what truly matters. Because I believe if we can give ourselves fully surrender in worship, mountains can move. Chains can be broken. People's lives can be changed here today if you give yourself fully to worship. We need to stop worrying about what others think and just give them praise. So right now, don't focus on the person next to you. Don't focus on the person behind you, in the room. Don't even focus on me. Focus on the one who is the light in the darkness. Focus on the one who saves. Focus on Jesus. Let's lift our hands. Let's just sing loud together.
Darkness reigns no more, for Jesus is greater. Over all who mourn, praise the dawn of salvation. Darkness reigns no more, for Jesus is greater. He is greater. Angels, let your song begin. Here comes heaven. Christ is born in Bethlehem. Here comes heaven. Angels, let your song begin. Here comes heaven. All creation worship Him. Here comes heaven. Here comes heaven. Here comes
I know right now in this moment, hearts are moved. In this room, hearts have changed. Right now, I'd like to give an opportunity for those who don't know Jesus, who haven't yet accepted Him into their hearts. Every head bowed, eyes closed. This prayer doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect anytime soon. This prayer is only to accept the gift that He has so graciously given us and to save us from sin. If you would like to pray that prayer with me for the first time or even just to rededicate your life to Him, I want you to lift your hand right now. Just be bold and lift your hand. Thank you. Thank you. You can put your hands down. Thank you. As a church, let's sing. Let's pray this loud and strong together. Lord Jesus, I give you my life. I believe you are God. I ask you to forgive me of my sins. I lift my hands and surrender to you and ask that your will be done in my life. I want all you have for me. Give me the faith to believe for more, to trust in you. Thank you for saving me. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's all give it up for those people. So much for doing today. Let's remember what God on every day this Christmas season. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.